The whole of salvation history hangs on a 15-year-old young lady's yes. Everything hangs on her yes. He doesn't force himself on her. She has to participate. All of salvation history, she has control of in that moment. But God doesn't just trust her there. Go forward 30-some years at the cross. What's the fourth commandment? Honor your father and your mother. Jesus has to fulfill that perfectly. Mary's at the cross. We know this. John tells us this. If she had said stop, he would have had to stop. She says nothing. It's not because she's stupid. It's not because she's ignorant. Her silence was acquiescence. Her silence was a yes. Knowing he had to do this. And she's saying yes to God the Father just like he is. Doing right with him. At the foot of the cross, with him, what he was doing on the cross. Sorrowful mother, broken hearts, things we were talking about before. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's wrecking when we realize this. Her silence was a yes. And because she was the one person who really believed in him, believed all of his words. He said he had to suffer and die and rise. And she was the one person who really believed him, the first disciple, which also meant her yes to this. She couldn't just resign. He's going to die. And, sometimes when we know one of our loved ones is going to die, we can resign ourselves to it. And we kind of, you kind of go, and you kind of emotionally take yourself a little bit back, even though but because he had said this, she knew he had to do this. Her silence was a yes to it, but she also believed he was going to rise again. He was going to do all this. He was going to die and he was going to rise. So she had to stay engaged. There was no resignation there. There was no emotional resignation. She had to stay emotionally engaged through all of it, through every wound, through every moment of his passing until he rose. That's why Saturday is her day. She maintained faith in the darkness, unlike anybody else. That's why she's the morning star, the star that comes up before the sun rises. The star in the darkness before the sun rises. God made both genders not just participate in the act of salvation, he gave her control of the cross. If she had said stop, he had to stop. He made both genders fully participate. Not just participate, but made them necessary for this to all work out exactly like he wanted to. And that's a mind-blowing thought, that even in our genders, our created gender as God made it, was fully not just participating, but necessary for the act of salvation.